Hi everyone. In this video, I show you the main way I write poetry. Step 1. I write down the theme and or scripture I am focusing on. Then step 2, I study and meditate deeply on that focus scripture or scriptures. If I was only given a theme, I would search for scriptures that align to that theme. My study of the scriptures will help me to deeply understand the message of the theme. Then I move to step 3. Well, while doing step 2, I will also be doing step 3. So both step 2 and step 3 are going on at the same time. So step 3 is write down the observations and connections I am making as I study the scriptures and the theme. So for this poem that I was writing in the video, I was focused on the theme, still believing, keep focused, joy has come. The scriptures were 1 Samuel 2 verses 1 to 3, Esther 5 verses 1 to 3, Ruth 2 verses 1 to 12. I decided to focus on the story of Hannah, so I dealt with 1 Samuel 2 verses 1 to 3. I also studied 1 Samuel 1 in order to gain the full understanding of Hannah's story and uncover how it connects to the theme. I wrote notes as I did this. Doing this helped me uncover the storyline the poem needed to focus on. So basically, the reason why I was doing all of this was I was invited to minister in poetry at Praise Sanctuary International Ministries Apostolic in Ellerslie, Spanish Town, Jamaica, right? And so I was given their theme and the scriptures. And so the first scripture that I decided to focus on was the story of Hannah. And so in this process, I was reading and prayerfully studying to see how the story of Hannah connected to the theme of still believing, keep focus, joy has come. At that time, my intention was to do the other two scriptures too, but as I went further, I was led to stay in the story of Hannah. And so the poem only talks about the story of Hannah, right? And so what I'm doing as I am studying 1 Samuel 1, as well as the focus scripture, 1 Samuel 2 verses 1 to 3, I am understanding the story of Hannah and how Hannah got to the point where her joy came, right? And I am understanding that storyline as well as how it brings out the theme of still believing, keep focus, joy has come. And as ideas come to me, as observations come to me, as connections come to me, you can see that I am writing them down in this book that you are seeing on your screen. And so what I am doing basically is I am a visual learner. So as I study the scripture that I am focusing on, I am writing down my observations, I am writing down my connections, I am writing down the storyline that I am getting, right? And I am writing down in concept map format, in visual format, in a way that I can understand. I am writing down how it connects to the theme, right? So that's basically what I am doing there. Doing this helped me to uncover the storyline that the poem needed to focus on, right? And as I said, I added something else. While doing this step, which is still step 3, I love adding color so my connections and observations and the overall storyline can stand out boldly to me. So there you are seeing the Bible and the worship music I was listening to. And now we move on to step 4. So after I have written down my observations and written down the storyline and my understanding of how it connects to the theme, I now move to step 4, which is to write an extremely simple poem just to capture the storyline of the theme and the scriptures I am focusing on. So, all that I wrote down in my observations, all that my observations and my connections are showing me regarding the storyline of the scripture and how it connects to the theme, I want to capture that now in a simple poem. So, in this case, I was not focused on having a poem that was decorated in figurative devices. I was not focused on having an award winning, beautiful poem. I just wanted a simple poem that captured what I was understanding, right? So that's basically what I was doing in step 4, as you can see on your screen. All I was focused on was writing a simple poem that told exactly what was happening in the easiest possible way. So that's basically what I'm doing. And this step helps me to remember my observations. It helps me to remember the storyline. It helps me to have the storyline fresh in my mind so that when I need to write the actual poem now, it won't be so hard for me to remember what I am writing about, right? And also, writing this as well helps me to focus. It helps me to meditate deeper on the scripture. And by doing that, more connections come to me. So I moved on to step 5, where I prayerfully used metaphors, allusions, personifications, imagery, repetition, rhyme, and other figurative and poetic devices to creatively allow my poem to tell the story that I wanted to tell effectively. So, to do this step 5, I basically went back to the simple poem and prayerfully figured out how I can use rhymes, repetition, imagery, and other poetic devices to creatively give this same message to the audience. This final poem was not completed in one night, though. It took me days and even a few weeks of writing things that came to me until I finally came to the final poem. So there were times when I was trying to write and nothing was coming to me. So I had to think about different parts of the poem, like for example, that element of sorrow in a standalone way and write whatever was coming to me just on that topic of sorrow alone. And then after a while, a couple days after writing down all those ideas, I come back again with those ideas as well as the actual main poem that I started and try to see how I can connect it to the story of Hannah to bring out what the poem needed to bring out. So that helped me to get to the final piece. Also, there was also a point where I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote until I basically couldn't write anymore. But even though I couldn't write anymore, I just knew that the poem never finished. There was that last part of the poem on joy that needed something else to broaden it. And I did not have those ideas at the time. So I had to write and then stop and then come back again like like a day after or so on, right? And come back again until the final poem was completely finished. So that's basically my poetry writing process. Majority of the times, and this is one main example, I do not write a whole poem all at once overnight, right? Most of my poems take this long to produce, right? It goes through a lot of steps. There are times when I can write a poem overnight. It depends on what I am writing about. But most of the time, my poems take time like this, right? So, this is basically a glimpse into my main way of writing poetry. I do enjoy it though. I especially enjoy the seeking God aspect of it and the digging into the Lord and, you know, you know digging into the Lord and seeking Him until the poem starts, until it gets to its final piece. So I pray that you enjoyed this glimpse into my process, and please enjoy this clip of a piece of the final poem as it was presented at Praise Sanctuary Ministries International Apostolic in Ellerslie, Spanish Town.
So I pray that you will be encouraged by this piece. It is entitled Because It Pleaseth Him. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. But what happens when His will leads you through sorrow's pathway, allowing you to endure provocation day by day? From adversaries content to make your life a great display of frustration, because it pleased Him to shut up your womb, because it pleased Him to shut up your womb. He will strengthen you to believe, and keep believing. He will strengthen you